Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Francis Edit, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu meets Asari Dokubo in Aso Rock. Next sets up committee over 702.9 billion naira for workers' cost of living allowance. Plus, Japan raises age of consent from 13 to 16 years old. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news this afternoon with Nigeria's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who is currently meeting with prominent Niger Delta leader and former leader agitator in the oil-rich region, Asari Dokubo, at the State House, Abuja. Recall that the president had last week reiterated a promise to halt crude oil theft in the country. It also met with other key figures from the region, including former Managing Director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Timi Alabi, as well as former Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMESA, Dr. Dakuku Peterside. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has called for the support of state governors in the task of turning around Nigeria's economy. He stressed that significant steps had been taken by ending the fuel subsidy and unifying the foreign exchange rates. Tinubu made the call at the inauguration of the National Economic Council (NEC) yesterday in Abuja. Tinubu also listed 8 priority areas for urgent attention and called for collective frameworks that would stimulate a buoyant economy that meets the needs of the poor and vulnerable. The president assured the governors that the administration would address issues that devalue the lives of Nigerians with a focus on security, economy, jobs, agriculture, infrastructure, monetary policy, and fuel subsidy. Tinubu urged NEC to stimulate ideas through robust discussions that would improve the livelihood of Nigerians while highlighting the exigency for interventions on poverty. The president further noted that the 3 tiers of government would need to be involved in economic development in order to ensure inclusiveness, collectivity, and ownership of policies and programs. Away from that, the National Economic Council (NEC) has set up an ad hoc committee on how to alleviate the sufferings faced by Nigerian workers following the removal of fuel subsidy. The council, according to a statement by the Office of the Vice President today, gave the committee 2 weeks to look into 2 scenarios suggested by the National Salaries, Wages and Income Commission (NSWIC). The NSWIC chairman, Ekpo Nta, suggested that the national minimum wage be reviewed to reflect present-day realities and that a cost of living adjustment allowance costing 702.9 billion naira is created to mitigate the impact of the subsidy removal on workers. Meanwhile, NEC also gave an update on the country's accounts, noting that the excess crude account stands at $473,754.56 and stabilization account at 26.6 billion naira, while the Natural Resources Fund stands at 96.9 billion naira. But $1 billion to assist Nigeria in the fight against tuberculosis, malaria, and human immunodeficiency virus, as well as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. The organization noted that the approved money was for the next 3 years, with the implementation plan commencing from January 2024. In a statement by the Director of Information, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Willie Bassi, the country portfolio manager, Nigeria Dr. Jen Nobuosi, said, out of the approximately 110 countries, Nigeria is the highest beneficiary of the Global Fund grants. Nobuisi added that Global Fund was working with country coordinating mechanism in ensuring equitable disbursement of funds to countries affected in the fight against tobacco. The nation's Children's Fund, UNICEF, has called on the government and other stakeholders to exploit the opportunities digitalization offers for the learning and development of Nigerian children. This comes as the nation joins other African countries to commemorate the African Child's Day. In a statement issued by the UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Christian Manduet, the agency lamented that the disruption to education by schools attacks has made millions of children to significantly miss out on learning, noting that about 10 million children are not in school at the primary level. Ordained while stressing on the 2023 theme, the rights of the child in the digital environment, noted that attacks on schools and the abduction of learners exacerbated the challenges as parents have become fearful of sending their children to school. A statement further disclosed that UNICEF had an offline digital learning platform powered by Microsoft that enables continuous access to 15,000 curriculum-aligned learning and training materials in local languages for learners, teachers, and parents. It said it was to bridge the access to quality learning opportunities, adding that since its inception, the Nigeria Learning Passport has provided access to quality teaching and learning resources to 280,000 learners, teachers, parents, and young people. Still in education, the All African Students Union AASU has hailed President Bola Tinubu for signing the Students' Loan Bill, saying the scheme would be a huge relief to its Nigerian members and a model to others. Speaking at a press conference to herald the 2023 African Students' Day, AASU President Osikenyi Osishogu said the Tinubu-led administration must ensure more efficient and equitable use of public expenditure by governments of Africa on education. This, he said, would help to generate significant room for finding new funding resources. Meanwhile, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has disclosed it paid a total sum of 1.5 billion naira to owners of non-JAMB computer-based test centers nationwide for services they rendered during the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. JAMB made the disclosure in a statement by the Director, Public Affairs and Protocol of the board, Fabian Benjamin. Benjamin said it was only proper to promptly settle obligations as and when due, so as to promote and sustain a cordial working relationship with partners who discharge their duties creditably. We move now to Africa, where South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has reportedly arrived in Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Reports say Ramaphosa is visiting Ukraine as part of the African negative economic impact and tension arising from the conflict between Ukraine and Russia is a grave situation that affects all of us in an interconnected world. A statement added that the African delegation will leave Kyiv en route to St. Petersburg, Russia, where they will engage with Putin on Saturday. According to reports, the African Peace Mission comprises the leaders of South Africa, Zambia, the Comoros, Republic of Congo, Egypt, Senegal, and Uganda. Still in Africa, the International Criminal Court (ICC) says it will look into allegations of war crimes by armed groups in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. This comes after the Congolese government made a new formal referral to the ICC over violence involving M23 rebels that had displaced around 1 million people in North Kivu province. Reports say the ICC has already convicted 3 former militia leaders over conflicts in DR Congo. Recall that President Felix Tshisekedi, as well as UN investigators, have accused Rwanda of backing the group, which relaunched a rebellion there in late 2021. On a foreign scene, Japan's age of consent has been raised from 13 among the world's lowest to 16 years old as lawmakers pass key reforms to sex crime legislation. The reforms, which also clarify rape prosecution requirements and criminalized voyeurism, cleared Parliament's upper house in a unanimous vote. Meanwhile, campaigners have welcomed the reforms, with the Tokyo-based group Human Rights now calling them a big step forward. The group said in a statement that the lifting of the age of consent in particular will send a message to society that sexual violence by adults against children is unacceptable. Still on the foreign scene, China President Xi Jinping has informed Bill Gates that China had always placed its hopes in the American people after the Microsoft Co-Founders Foundation pledged $50 million to help Chinese efforts to battle disease. Bill Gates, one of the world's richest men, is the latest in a string of Western business leaders to visit China since the country ended strict COVID controls that largely closed it off from the world for almost 3 years. Reports say the visit is Gates' first to China in 4 years. And still to come in the news, Super Falcons captain Ibi says Super Falcons can reach semi-finals at 2023 Women's World Cup. To stay with us.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria. From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
The Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by across them, our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us. We'll move on to the rest of the news stories. On a business news, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, says the country's shortage of electricity supply has been identified as a hindrance to the profitability of manufacturers, with an annual economic loss valued at about 10.1 trillion naira, about 2% share of the country's gross domestic product. MAN noted that the unfavorable situation has positioned the country among the worst countries to do business, with a rank of 171 out of 190. The manufacturers made the claim in a statement in which it reacted to the assenting of the electricity bill by President Bola Tinubu. According to MAN, the current power supply is inadequate to satisfy the energy needs requirement of the manufacturing sector and the entire population. The association, however, noted that the Electricity Act 2023, if well implemented, promises to be a major game changer for the manufacturing sector. MAN further expressed optimism that if properly utilized, such huge revenue can bridge the infrastructure deficit in many states without imposing further tax burden on manufacturers. Still in business, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has said that the company income tax that manufacturers paid has rose by 29% to 62 billion naira in the first quarter of 2023 from 44 billion naira in the same period last year. The NBS report showed that from all sectoral contributions, manufacturers paid the highest income taxes, followed by information and communication technology and financial services. According to the report, a 13% increase was also recorded in value-added tax raked in from manufacturers, as VAT from the sector was up from 112 billion naira in Quarter 3 of 2022 to 129 billion naira within the period in review. The increase comes as taxes paid by manufacturers to the federal government rose by 60% to 839.6 naira in 2022 from 524 billion naira recorded in the prior year. We move to health, where the federal government has said it will soon introduce the human papillomavirus vaccine into the country's immunization schedule. Executive Director, National Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Swipe, disclosed these at the second quarter review meeting with Northern traditional leaders in Abuja. Swipe noted that immunization would help to reduce the disease burden on the healthcare system and spare individuals from unnecessary suffering and ultimately save lives. According to him, the introduction of HPV vaccines by the federal government signifies the agency's commitment to promoting preventive healthcare and empowering population, especially young generation, to live healthier lives. Reports say that HPV is a commonly transmitted infection that can lead to various health issues, including cervical, anal, and esophageal cancers. Still in health, the Kebbi State government has expressed concern over rising incidents of rape and revealed that 39 cases were recorded within 6 months alone. This was made known by the wife of the governor, Hajia Zainab Nasiru Idris, when officials of the National Union. The figure was disclosed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs, Aisha Makurota. The governor's wife described the figure as alarming, noting that rape remained an ugly trend in gender-based violence cases and that the state needs the support and cooperation of all to eliminate it. She urged the state government to take appropriate measures to reduce the menace and punish perpetrators. He said that he is confident the Super Falcons team can reach the semi-finals at the upcoming 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. He said the West African America. The 9-time African champions were eliminated in the round of 16 by Germany 4 years ago in France. The captain, who was included in the 23 women's squad unveiled by head coach Randy Waldrum today, reiterated that the Super Falcons make it to the last 4 this time. Tuesday, July 4th, for a 15-day final campaign program before the finals begin on July 20th. Still in sports, Serie A champions Napoli have appointed Rudy Garcia as their new head coach. The 59-year-old Frenchman replaces Luciano Spalletti. Garcia, like Spalletti, previously managed Roma in Serie A, while he won a French league and cup double with Lille in 2010 through 2011. After spells at Marseille and Lyon, Garcia left his most recent job at Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia in April. On our entertainment news, Nigerian super with his hit debut EP, Get Laid, Omalay has reportedly become one of the hottest Afrobeat acts whose music has earned him millions of fans across the globe. Boy Alone Deluxe packs 6 new tracks which offer varying sounds from Afropop, Afrobeat, and a blend of psychedelia, hip-hop, and pop. The deluxe features 2 guest appearances, with UK rapper H appearing on Imagine and Latin pop superstar Ozuna appearing on Soso Remix. Still on entertainment, Meghan Markle's Archetypes podcast will not be renewed for a second season after being axed by Spotify. A streaming giant and Meghan and Prince Harry's audio production company Archewell Audio released a joint statement saying they have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series they made together. The move to ditch the Duchess of Sussex show, which explores the labels that try to hold women back, follows discussions months ago about renewing it for a second series. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe. I'm Francis Edit. Many thanks for being there, and do enjoy the rest of your day.